Welcome to the Gosh Heckin' Stream. Coming up, we have stories about a new update for the 15-year-old pregnancy drama, family first, even above your own child. Who is family? Question mark. X makes his problems my problems. Stepchildren cross a line. Infertility is not a punching bag. Birthdays, baptisms, and weddings, oh my. And double petty revenge stories. Would you look at that? Breaking news. Oh yeah. Once again, we return to the story with some periodic updates here. This is a new update for the My 15-Year-Old Idiot Kid Got His Girlfriend Pregnant on Purpose. September 19th, Ollie did a DNA test. Bree and Baby didn't do their test until last week. There were a few excuses, but honestly most were reasonable. One being that the other boy refused to come and do a test as well. I found out that he, 17, already has a child with another girl in that town who he also refused to do a DNA test for. That other girl was contacted by Bree and is willing to DNA her baby, who is only 5 months old, to see if they are siblings. Our DNA test came back as expected yesterday. Ollie is not the father. We don't know about the other results, if they are back or if they are positive or if they were even done. Ollie and Bree have drifted since last month. He is focusing on school and sports, has a new girlfriend, which we did not appreciate at first. He had hidden it until his therapist spoke to us all about it. He showed his friends the test results in hopes it would get back to their parents too, but it seems his reputation has been tainted regardless. Bree moved out of home 3 weeks after the baby was born, unsure where to exactly, but she's living with a friend and her mom in town. Her mother and stepfather kicked her out apparently, and her bio father does not have stable housing for children. What a shitstorm this has been. Ollie turned 16 this month, and I'm hoping this is all behind us now for good. That's where we're at. You know we're gonna get another update for this. Relevant and top comments here. Commenter 1, who did she put as the father on the birth certificate? OP says, I don't believe anyone. It was not Ollie. Commenter 2, your son is incredibly lucky to have had you stand up for him, as you have through this whole ordeal, but I also feel really bad for the young lady going through all of this without parental support, feeling like she had no option other than helping your son set up this whole contrived situation. Her life is going to be that much more difficult moving forward. The whole situation sucks, but I'm grateful your son won't be carrying the burden of it. Last commenter here, I hope life settles for all involved. What a wild journey your family has been through. I feel bad for all the children involved. I really wonder about Bree. Is her home life absolutely terrible? How sad for her to feel the need to leave with a newborn baby. I think we can all agree that her home life was absolutely terrible. We knew that coming into this, but so what we know right now.
Also, this kid is 17 and has has impregnated 2 teenagers, but now the girls are going to DNA test what could be siblings. Like, this is like,
and he's going to be the only common denominator. So boom. I wonder what is the fuck? What is the benefit? What is the benefit?
I feel bad for Ollie that his reputation is tainted by this whole experience, that he was brought into it needless, like he shouldn't have been involved in it whatsoever. And I feel bad for this girl because they're all teenagers, and like, this is just
God, he turned 16.
What a rough start to to this part of your life, which should be much more chill than this.
Rebecca, to your point here, whoa, isn't that confidentiality breach for the therapist to do that? And Invisible Woman says, if the son gave the therapist the okay to discuss the topic with his parents, then no. I don't know how that works with a minor, you know what I mean? But it was kind of a mental red flag for me when I read that. I'm like, well, that probably shouldn't happen, but there needed to be somehow that's okay.
And maybe like he gave the therapist the okay to tell his parents, but he also, like, because of this situation, felt like he couldn't tell his parents.
Yeah.
Or felt like he didn't want to share that information for whatever the reason was. But I mean, it's very much affected him. Like, things are going to be different moving forward. I'm glad that he's in therapy, but he's had a very hard lesson very early in life.
He felt like he needed to share the DNA test results with his friends, hoping the results would get back to their parents, because he's now got a scarlet letter on him. And
it's like a deadbeat dad at 15. Like, that's crazy.
And he was set up. Like, none of this is real. So to be labeled that way, and now like your at least high school social life largely be dictated by this new trajectory that you have because of this, that's tough.
I hope he is able to like persevere and move forward and like through this, but I hate that as a 15-year-old he has to. Lady Artemis says, if the babies aren't related, I'm telling you it's stepdads. And that
It's gross. Ooh, David.
It's too much.
Am I the astronaut for not leaving my son's piano concert early, which ended with my niece cutting off her own hair? Okay, this has been bugging me for days, and my husband thinks I should just let it go, but I honestly feel torn. I, 38 female, have a 10-year-old son, Ethan. He's been taking piano lessons for a couple of years, and last weekend he had his first big school concert. He had a solo, and he'd been practicing nonstop, like every day after school. Even stopped Roblox to practice this. It was a huge deal for him. My sister-in-law, Maya, asked me earlier that week if I could babysit her daughter, Lily, 5, that same evening because she had an event to go to. I said sure, but I'd have to come after Ethan's concert around 7:30. She said that was fine. Fast forward to the day of the concert. First, Maya starts texting me all day asking if I can come earlier. First 7, then 6:30, then 6. I keep telling her no, I can't. Ethan's concert starts at 6 and he's got his solo in the middle. I told her I'd come as soon as it's done. While we were at the concert, during Ethan's solo of all times, my phone started vibrating like crazy. I saw it was Maya calling, but did not pick up. I had it on silent and was recording. After the concert ended, I checked my phone and saw like 5 missed calls and a message that said, I had to leave. Lily's home alone. Just go in when you get there. Hold up. This kid's 5? Well, this just got way more serious. I swear my stomach dropped. I told my husband and we just left right away. Didn't even stop to talk to anybody or go home first. When I got to Maya's house, maybe 20 minutes later, Lily was sitting on the floor surrounded by her hair. Mama's lucky it was just hair. She'd found scissors and had basically hacked off big chunks of her own hair. It looked like she had just grabbed random pieces and cut them at the roots. There was hair everywhere. She was fine physically, thank God, but I was honestly so angry and shaken. I cleaned her up as best I could. Unfortunately, I had to give her a shorter cut because, that much hair was only remaining, and waited for Maya to come home. When she did, she blew up on me. She said if I had any empathy, I would have come early and that I chose a piano concert over family. This bish. I told her she was out of her mind for leaving a 5-year-old alone at home and that she was lucky nothing worse happened. She said I made her desperate. Now she's telling everyone I'm selfish and made her daughter ugly. A few relatives had hinted that I could have just left early, but honestly, what was I supposed to do? Walk out of my kid's solo in the middle of it? I feel guilty that Lily ended up like that, but I also feel like Maya completely crossed a line. So yeah, am I the astronaut for not leaving my son's concert early and causing my niece to cut her hair off?
No, Maya does not deserve her. Maya does not deserve her daughter. This is not what parents do. This is not. You all right?
I'm choking. I'm choking on Maya's bullshit.
Anyone that is willing to leave their 5-year-old home alone does not care about their 5-year-old, and you cannot convince me otherwise because this is utter bullshit to leave your child unattended for a event. I don't care what the event is. I don't give a flying Do not leave your 5-year-old home alone. That's Navy's age in 6 months, and that is just completely unacceptable. CPS all the way.
Yes, I'm angry.
Take Lily, call CPS.
What the is Maya even doing, by the way? What was so important to Maya that she chose to leave her child alone at home to go do?
It was a work event. It was just an event.
So, okay.
No, there's nothing important enough for that.
Your lack of preparation does not constitute an emergency on my behalf. First, that. Second, the opinion of someone who left their child at 5 years old home alone does not matter. I don't care if she thinks you're the asshole. She left her kid alone at home. None of her opinions matter. She doesn't
100%.
have any kind of credibility over anyone, and I would call CPS. She chose, rather than be late to her event, whatever the that was, she abandoned her child and put it on you, who were at your son's concert. You still had to get up and walk out of that concert. It was after his solo, thank goodness, for this bish who couldn't be bothered to secure her child being watched by an adult of some kind in the amount of time that you were not available. Instead, she chose to leave her kid there with easy access to scissors and is blaming you because she cut off her own hair. First, bitch, you're lucky it was just hair. Second, bitch, say hi to Carol from CPS. And by the way, the law agrees with me, Maya. This was not my responsibility. It's yours. All right. Here we go.
Maya, black hole.
This is not for you, OP. This is for Maya. Go all the way to the black hole. All the way. Do not pass go. Do not collect $200. Don't ever come back. Lily will be better off because right now you are just f***ing up the rest of her life and creating trauma for her. Am I the astronaut for leaving my son's concert early and causing my niece to cut her hair off? If you genuinely believe that you were the reason that your niece cut her hair off, like, your sister has gotten in your head. Am I the astronaut for not supporting my ex-husband and his wife after their many years of infertility? I, 30s, have 3 children with my ex-husband, Nick, 30s, aged 13, 12, and 9. We separated, later divorcing when our youngest was only 4 months old. We divorced because Nick confessed he didn't love me, and he married me because I was pregnant with our oldest. He had been unable to develop any real feelings for me and could not pretend any longer because he felt his unhappiness was growing by the day.
AKA he was cheating.
That's what I was going to say.
Because
so he
that gives I'm cheating.
Continued having children with you? No, this is playing the long game and saying he doesn't love you now so that he can be with his mistress without it looking like he was cheating later on. What a douche canoe. Maybe we'll find out that that is in fact the truth. Right now, it's the vibe. I bring this up because I believe his lack of true feelings for me has led him to seeing me as unimportant and disposable to our kids. The reason I feel like this is because of his wife and his wife Haley's 30s treatment of me. We had been divorced for a number of weeks when Nick started bringing Haley to our kids' school events. Boy, there's another clue. We met at the school play and then commented that Haley was getting ready for her role as a new mom. I thought they meant she was pregnant too, but no! They meant she would be mom to my kids. Haley wanted to hold my youngest, and Nick told me they needed some mother-son bonding time because she had not met the kids by this point. It had been weeks. They had been dating for weeks at this point. Within weeks of this, they wanted me to delegate some tasks to Haley, like school pickup and drop off or taking the oldest to dance. My kids barely knew her. They were not living together at this point, and Nick told me it was important to make space for Haley as a mom. I told him she would be a stepmom, but I am their mom. Nick's response was, at their house, Haley would be mom, and the kids could do with a mom and a dad parental unit instead of divorced parents. He said he knew Haley would be a better mom than I could ever be. Afterward, Haley would call me names whenever she saw me because I said she would be a stepmom and not mom. She said I was so insecure if I couldn't handle taking second place to her. Nick took me back to court to ask for primary/full custody and was denied.
Fuck that
guy. Even the court said FTG. I went back with proof they were trying to push me out. Nick even tried to remove me from the school contact list and put Haley on there instead of me. This was all before they got married. Nick was removed from legal decision making after that stunt, and he was told to be careful with how they approached PT conferences and doctor's appointments because they had to share all of that with me. So they did, but it came with hostility. And then when they finally got married, they booked a date that fell on my parenting time, and after back and forth, the kids were not at their wedding because I was expected to give up a week with my kids and not get it back so they could be with them for the wedding and initially after the wedding. Nick tried to bring the courts in to take custody from me, but the judge said I had been reasonable in my offers for compromise, and Nick rejected them. The kids call her Haley. This bothers Nick and Haley as they prefer me to the two of them, which they have tried to say is because of alienation, not because they put the kids in the middle when they're there to try to encourage them to call Haley mom, or when they say kids should tell me they want to spend Mother's Day with Haley and not me. Apparently, they were trying to have children together for several years. I'm not sure of her diagnosis, but Nick said she's sterile and then said infertile, but they are not able to have biological children together. Nick told me all of this via our co-parenting app and requested a month with the kids for them to go visit Haley's family in Canada. I said no. Nick pushed, and I forwarded the details of our parenting time split and the wording to say neither parent is obligated to give time up. I saw them in person last week at a show for my youngest. The kids did not hug Haley, and Nick and Haley then accused me of not being supportive of them and Haley's relationship with the kids, and that all of those years of infertility should have helped me find some compassion and understanding and make me willing to help them. I dismissed it. I don't feel like I owe them. I just want to check if people think I have behaved improperly. Legally, I am A-okay. This is not me asking for legal advice. Am I the astronaut? This poor woman!
Hear us when we yell from the rooftops. Everyone in chat, I'm sure everyone on this post, you are not the asshole. Please do not question yourself on this. This is 100% not okay that they And also, like, there is no way you will ever convince me that this guy was not cheating on his wife with this woman.
Wait, how long have they been apart?
I don't know.
I mean, because the infertility thing has been years, but it sounded like it was all still pretty fresh. But this has just kind of been frozen in a hostile time for years.
So this has been almost a decade because they separated when the youngest was 4 months old and the youngest is now 9. So this has been going on for almost a decade. That is,
and the kids still don't want anything to do with her.
Do not question yourself. No, because she's trying to force this crazy relationship that is not, instead of just being an amazing stepmom, getting along with their mom, the kids would have accepted you wholeheartedly had you not come in acting like you knew what was better for their kids, for her kids. You lost the moment you stepped in trying to do mother-son bonding with a baby. Like, no, Haley, you're done. Crazy.
And I think we need to reframe a world for you here real quick for UOP because right now, yeah, but your ex and his bizzo wife, Wonder Woman, to your point here, they said not once did they ask about how the kids felt about things. They don't care about the kids. The kids are not human beings to them. They are playthings. She is going to play house with them. She is wanting like a surrogate child.
She wants to fulfill her dream of being a mom.
Which is psychologically damaging. And here's where I want to reframe your worldview. Right now, you are playing defense. You are like, I am doing the right thing according to the documents, blah, blah, blah. You go play defense at court when you need to. You need to play offense right now because they just told you they are trying to play house because of infertility. That is something that I believe should be usable to say, look at the damage they are doing to my children because they are just trying to use them as substitutes because she's been infertile.
And to that note, do not let this man take your children out of this country.
No, don't.
Because what the no, do not let him take the kids out of the country.
Because, okay, right now their ire is directed at you. What happens if they end up being able to pull something off where they have them for an extended period of time and the kids won't give her what she wants? Then their ire gets directed at them. Mm-hmm. This is damaging for your children right now, and you're playing defense to protect your structure with them right now. This needs to not be a shared custody. You need to have full physical custody. He probably could get some kind of supervised visitation. She's not allowed around the children. That needs to be the offense you play for right now because it is the best thing for the children. Am I the astronaut for telling my stepkids that I no longer view them as my kids?
I thought you said there weren't any more stories like this.
To start this off, this is a throwaway as I don't want this connected to my main account. I'm 36 female, and my husband is 42 male and has 2 daughters who are 16 and 13. My husband and I have been together for 8 years. For some context, the girls have a mom who's just not active in their lives. She comes around once a year or every other year and stays for 2 to 3 months and then leaves. The problem is, when she comes to town, the girls change. For example, me and their dad got married, they started calling me mom as they felt that I was their mom. But when their mom came back, they would stop and call her mom and push me to the side. I understood why they did that then, as they were young and confused and were trying to please her. We put them in therapy, and their therapist had them apologize, and they tried to explain it. The next 2 times it happened, she told me to try and have a talk with them. Their mom decided not to come home for the next 2 years, and it was a really peaceful 2 years. The kids were good, enjoying school, their new brother, and were just happy. This year, their mom decided to come. She came in August and stayed until about a week ago. This time, when she came, the girls changed completely. It started with not calling me mom, to saying disrespectful things to me and their dad, to telling their brother they didn't like him and that he wasn't their real brother and some other stuff. But the main thing they said that really hurt was I wasn't their mom and that I would never be, and that I'm a bad stepmom and their mom is their only mom. Well, you know where all this is coming from, though. I'm sure it still hurts to hear, but you know where all this is coming from. So last week when their mom left, they slowly tried to crawl back and tried to start calling me mom again, and I told them I didn't want them to call me that anymore. They looked shocked when I said that and asked why. I told them that they told me multiple times I'm not their mom and I'm a bad stepmom and that their mom is their only mom, so I said I no longer view you as my kids. They looked hurt and went to tell their dad what was said, and he said it's between us. Their therapist thinks I was harsh, but I don't, as they are old enough to realize what's wrong to say and what's right. So, am I the astronaut? Note, I also want to put that I don't blame the younger one as much as I blame the older one. She knows better, and I understand things with parents are hard, but I was younger than her when I cut my father off, and he was similar to how their mom is. The rose-colored glasses should be faded or fading by now, as she's old enough to understand. And how old is she? They're 16 and 13 now.
OP has been in their life for 8 years, so since they were 8 and 5. I do think OP doesn't come away completely unscathed, but at this point, I think OP is reacting the way that she is because she's trying to protect herself from the damage that it's doing each time their mom comes around. Like it's doing damage to the kids, it's doing damage to her as well. So everybody is reacting out of emotion and hurt. Like, I understand OP is trying to protect herself. I understand all of that, but it's still, at the end of the day, they are still kids.
So
I don't know.
here's my problem with how she approached this.
Yeah, it's just not, it's not good.
It is tough to teach someone a lesson after they've already done the thing, right? It's tough to... you're doing what you're doing right now, not just to protect yourself, but I think also to, as a last ditch effort, to try to teach them a lesson, to make them understand how much they hurt you and how much that hurt cannot be undone, right? I think that's the lesson you're trying to teach right now. But what's your goal? Because if the goal is to truly change their behavior, maybe this works, but also in their mind, according to you, it's done. It's over. There's no point in trying to make up with you now. There's no point in changing their behavior because they've lost that opportunity. They're done. If you wanted to change their behavior, like approaching it like this, but saying, look, what you girls did and continued to do, even though you know better, even though you've been in therapy in it, is just hurtful and wrong and gross. And hear me now, if you ever treat me that way again, I'm done. I'm done doing for you. I'm done acting as mom whenever your bio mom decides she doesn't want to be around. I'm done being mom and then being your punching bag whenever she decides to show back
100%.
up and talk shit, and you guys just come recite all the garbage that she gave to you in the script, right? You know she's not a good mom. She shows up once every 3 years, says she's great, and then I'm shit, and you guys come here and tell me that. You know that hurts. You know that's false. If you ever do that again, there will be real consequences.
But I think it's so important to remember too that this innate need to seek validation from our parents,
I understand.
especially when they withhold it, because this mom, for me, bio mom is black hole because she's withholding it and then coming and spewing venom and trying to sever the relationship. It's like not only is she a shitty mom, but she's coming back to ruin the relationship that the girls are trying to build with this woman. And I know OP is reacting out of emotion. That's why I said emotions are everywhere. OP reacted the way she did out of emotion, but I do think OP should have given them the opportunity to say, hey, do not call me mom until you are ready to call me that for good.
Right.
Because the yo-yo, the back and forth of all of this, like this is something that I can no longer do. And I'm speaking to you as an adult because what you've done here is handled this. You're doing this on a level that is not okay. And so I'm telling you, I can no longer handle this. We can no longer go back and forth. Do not call me mom until you are ready to call me mom. And if you are never ready to call me mom for the rest of your life, then just don't do it.
Right.
And not make it a, you are no longer my kids. I will always think of you as my kids. You will always be my kids because no matter what OP says, they're always going to be your kids. But at the same time,
then you're just furthering the abandonment.
Yeah, but at the same time, we have to remember that these girls told their brother that he is not their brother. And so this OP is also a mom to her son.
Yes.
And she is also protecting her son at this point. So it's a volatile, explosive situation with like fuses on all sides. And dad is like,
Dad. Like,
yeah,
Dad,
you dad. Ask on one.
Step up, Dad. Like, you're just nowhere to be found here.
Yeah.
And you're the authority that can prevent this from happening and put this fire out right now. And you're just sitting on the couch, cracking open a beer, watching ESPN. Like, where the are you?
Right.
But
just leaving OP to handle this all on her own. And
Yes.
it's just like, it's a messy situation. And right now, everyone sucks because they're very emotional about what is going on. And at what point is dad not stepping up and severing mom's parental, like why are they seeing their mom?
Exactly,
Because at this point, she is doing more harm than good.
and there's proof of that.
Yes.
It's really easy to prove that their visits or her visits are only doing harm and they can stop happening, right?
Right. And I don't know if you're being the parent that says you can't see your mom does more good. I don't know. I obviously am not in this situation, but
I think there's a middle ground to that. And it's, you can see your mom. It has to be supervised.
there you go.
Because is mom going to start reading from her recurring script whipped right in front of dad and she probably would, what we know from her to this point. But I still stick to you here. Like, yes, you acted out of a lot of strong emotions here. I think if you want to affect some real change, create a boundary and be firm with those boundaries. And maybe it's incremental, but that's how change happens, is by creating a firm boundary with a clear consequence, and you actually follow through. Am I the astronaut for choosing my baby's baptism date on my nephew's birthday, even though my brother-in-law is mad about it? My husband, 31 male, and I, 34 female, have recently set a date for our son's baptism. It's not random. It's the date my pregnancy was confirmed by my OBGYN, and it coincides with the date my grandfather passed away 13 years ago. He was the last person to die in our parish before it merged with several other parishes. He was also deeply religious, so for us, it's a full circle moment. One chapter ends and a new one starts. Here's where the drama starts. It's also my nephew's birthday, who will turn 2 this year. My brother-in-law completely flipped out and said we can't do it because of this, and that it's disrespectful. Thing is, last year he and my sister-in-law got married on my husband's birthday. They never talked about it or asked whether it was okay for him. They simply said it and said it's an emotional date for them, so we had to be understanding and go with it. They didn't even acknowledge him that day. We swallowed it, not happily, but quietly, because we didn't want to make a fuss. Now we've chosen a meaningful date for our family, and suddenly it's a big issue. It honestly stings that there's zero understanding from the same people who expected it from us last time. We even offered to plan the baptism and birthday at different times so both kids can have their moment, but he's still angry. So, am I the astronaut for keeping this date for my son's baptism, although my brother-in-law is mad about it? Top comments here. 1, ESH. May this type of family never find me. 2, you said we swallowed it, only to spit it out at their faces at the first occasion. Lots of reaching for this being a special date. ESH for sure. Okay. Thoughts?
OP is like, for me, it's she's in TA. I do think she's reaching with the 13-year anniversary of my grandfather's like passing and the confirmation. Like that's a very like specific. I think she's reaching with the date. In TA, because like we said, they can both happen on the same day. You can have the baptism and the party on the same day. It should not. There's definitely enough hours in the day to do both. But I do think the person nailed it, that when they said, you said swallowed it, only to spit it out in their faces at the first occasion. Yep. So I think it's like in TA, but also with the side of ESH, because you have every right to do it. It's all of it, but it does feel like you picked it on purpose, like tit for tat.
Yeah, okay.
So I'm going NTA with a small helping of ESH.
It does sound like tit for tat. And I would say it comes down to this, and we won't get to know this, unfortunately. But if the date references that she found here, the historical ones, to justify choosing this date, she found after this became a problem.
It feels intentional.
Then it feels very... the way that it's presented right now can either be super pure or it can be petty as F. And we don't get to know which one it is, unfortunately, here.
Yeah. The
way that it reads gives a little bit of petty to it, which would make me swing that way toward an ESH. But if it very well could be 100% pure here, and she could just be like, look, this day is important because of this. But I feel like if that were true, that would have been the battle that she would have fought here and been like, what was it, his grandfather?
No, it was her grandfather's 13th passing anniversary, and the anniversary of her OBGYN confirming that she was pregnant. Like those are reaches for me. It's petty. Like it's like if you want to do this, like you're doing this, and it's gonna be a back and forth thing. Like, so if you're in it, you're in it. But like I said, it's justifiable assholery, justifiable passive aggressiveness. But
the mechanics of it are NTA. I think the delivery is what makes this NESH, and because I do believe it's pettily charged. Am I the astronaut for not reconciling with my sister after she said my husband should find a real wife and other hurtful things about my infertility? My older sister Nora, 42 female, and I, 34 female, stopped talking 3, almost 4 years ago after she said multiple hurtful things about my infertility. The finishing one was her saying my husband should find a real wife who could give him children. I'd let her get away with so much because I love my family, including my 3 other siblings, and I didn't want to make life more difficult for anyone else. But my husband told me I shouldn't destroy destroy myself so everyone else can be happy. And her comments were destroying me. Green flags, hubby. Also, you got a people pleaser of a wife. Examples of a handful of the things she said are, I was too old to be a first-time mom and needed to stop trying. I was clearly unfit to be a mom and couldn't see it, but my body was telling me. I should just accept my life as the forever childless babysitter. Nobody else in our family had trouble getting pregnant, and I was clearly the loser of the family. Getting pregnant is so easy, and even grandmothers were getting pregnant easier.
See you next Tuesday, sister.
Wow. This bizzo, Death Eater kind of evil. Report back to the Dark Lord. The rest of my family was understanding when it went too far and I couldn't cope with her anymore. They knew my husband was extremely bothered by Nora's comments too, and he was on the verge of losing his shit with her. Gosh, I wish he would have. My husband and I continued trying to have children together, and last year we were successful after our one last time IUI. Yay. My pregnancy was very complicated. We knew early we were having twins, but my body did struggle, and I was hospitalized on and off during my pregnancy and stayed in the hospital from 7 months until delivery to keep all three of us safe. You would go crazy. Being so happy for them, but you would go crazy, like stuck in the hospital that long. It was after the birth of my children that Nora reached out and she said she wanted us to repair our relationship. In her original reaching out message, she congratulated me on the birth of my daughter, but not my son, and she talked about how exciting it was to have a little girl in the family. At no point did she apologize for what she said or recognize my son other than saying the twins one time. I didn't reply, but I did mention it to my husband. He read it too, and he was like, her. Nora reached out again after 2 weeks with no reply, and she was like, I think you might have missed the message, but... And she told me again she wanted to reconcile, and she guessed now that I had what I wanted, we could work on being sisters again. Once again, she mentioned how she couldn't wait to see my daughter. I responded that I did not feel like reconciling with her, and we were better off staying no contact, and I muted her. My reasons aren't just because of what she said to me, and because she didn't apologize, but I have a son too. I don't want to reconcile with Nora and subject him to being left out because Nora only has boys and is obsessed with girls. Both of my children deserve to be treated with the same love, respect, and excitement within our family. Nora has complained to our other siblings about this, and my older brother and younger sister have told me I could at least try.
Nope.
Them too. They said after trying 3, almost 4 years, it's time to see if we can all move forward. Oh yeah, and you're supposed to be the one to get over it. They did admit they wanted Nora to shut up, but they said it would also be good for us to all move past this. My younger brother does not agree and has told me we're doing the right thing, and he said it's right for all the reasons I have. But my other 2 siblings believe I could communicate and be open to seeing if Nora can acknowledge where she went wrong with everything. They said I could do that for the sake of everyone. Am I the astronaut for not trying or wanting to reconcile?
NTA, your stupid sister thinks that your worth is tied to your uterus. Her. Her for trying to make you feel less than because you couldn't have, because pregnancy didn't come easy to you. Your sister's an entitled, cunty little bitch.
And also, your other siblings, except for the youngest, who
100%.
said that you're doing the right thing. Your other siblings here are validating everything she's put you through and expecting you to now be the bigger person. And not just be the bigger person, you're already the bigger person because you fucking allowed it without bitch slapping her this whole time.
Right.
But now they're like, oh, you could do it for everyone's sake. There's the tip off.
I will
They
bitch
just
slap her
told
for
you the
100%.
only reason they're doing this is so they don't have to hear her bullshit anymore. For everyone's sake means that they have some kind of pain right now they are also trying to alleviate. Them for
Nora.
trying. They're trying to choose their annoyance or their what's the word I'm looking for, their discomfort in a situation over years of being mistreated in a really terrible human kind of way. So them. Sorry, you just go through and no contact who you need to no contact, because you also have to think about, like you have already with your bizzo of a sister, your son being mistreated, being left out. Anyone who is not going to treat your children well does not get proximity to your children. It's that simple.
I agree 100%. And for the sake of your children, this person cannot be back in your life. What she said to you was unforgivable, like unforgivable. Like I women like this who are so mind to believe the bullshit that they spew. Do not let this woman around your children. She's small-minded and disgustingly stupid for thinking and saying the things that she did.
Yeah, and
it is unforgivable.
And even now, like the ability to do it is one thing. To do it with no remorse is another thing. To do it and then expect the other person
To just come back around.
to go out of their way for you after treating them like shit is a whole other.
She abused you.
Yeah.
Abused you for her own fun and games.
Yeah, they want to sacrifice OP for their comfort. Exactly.
That's what Rockin' Wife said. I've dropped people for less. And same. She didn't even deserve a text message back.
No. Wronged significant other gets revenge on Craigslist. Not me, but I got involved. Saw an ad on Craigslist for 45 free layer hens, chickens. Right age and good breed. He's moving for work, must get rid of quickly. Take a few or take all. I call. The guy is irate. I get him talking because he is at his wit's end. He tells me that his girlfriend found out that he was cheating when she went through his phone. She broke up with him and he thought that was that, but she started posting free stuff on Craigslist with his phone number. He's getting tons of calls all day and night. Call anytime. As soon as he gets the post taken down, she posts another one with his phone number. One was a motorcycle he never owned, like he never owned any chickens. Another was free fencing, and another was free new fencing he can't use. He lives in an apartment. A puppy he found. Share half a big house cheap. I'm out of town most of the time for work. Whenever he could get a post taken down, she would post in a different category. He can't change his phone number because it's a work phone. How long could this possibly go on?
This is when the petty revenge works because you are burning that relationship and it's perfect.
Yeah.
So you can be as diabolical as you want. Also, is this a new voice?
I don't know. It just happened. Lauren says, so is a genius. Significant other.
Perfect.
Yeah. Yep.
It's perfection.
It's
don't cheat on diabolical people.
Man,
Or just don't cheat. That's good too.
This approach I have a lot of admiration for. I also feel like at some point you could just create this post and put it in all the same categories, but be like, this ain't for a real product, but my ex cheated and I'm just annoying the shit out of him by people who call him.
No,
and people would still do it.
I would not post. When the next one's taken down, I wouldn't make a new post. 4 months, 6 months, let him think that he's safe. Let him think that the crazy has stopped and then start it all back up again. Like I said, don't cheat on diabolical people.
Wait,
I'm looking at you.
I would never cheat, period. But like schedule a post for 5 years from now. Like you could just put in a little bit of work now and schedule this shit to happen and then you could move on, right? But no, in the back of your mind that he'd still be haunted by his poor choices for the rest of his life. Middle schoolers get petty revenge on mean teacher. My kid is in middle school, and today they had a substitute teacher. I used to be a teacher, so my kid knows they better be nice and respectful, and they were, until the teacher started to get mean. Mr. Meanie flips out and tells one student to go to the office. Student asks why. Other students ask why. Then the whole class is asking why. Instead of explaining why, Mr. Meanie calls the office and says the student is refusing to go to the office and causing a disturbance. Counselor comes to get the student, and the whole class starts talking to the counselor at the same time, explaining what really happened. Mr. Meanie is livid and tries shouting over the students. Apparently, he was so annoyed that the student was tapping her foot. So the counselor gives the whole class a 10-minute break to leave the classroom while she handles it. Well, my kid and their friends come up with their own plan on how to handle it. Class resumes, and exactly 5 minutes later, every single student starts tapping their feet. And they make sure to not tap in unison or with any rhythm. They don't stomp their feet or use their hands. It's just a chaotic cacophony of 30-ish students tapping their feet. Mr. Meanie freezes, slowly turns to the class and says, "I'm sorry." All the tapping immediately stops, and my kid said the look on his face was just utter defeat. Middle school is not for the weak.
Don't fuck with middle schoolers. You don't fuck with middle schoolers.
Like at that point,
that's where the crazy starts.
They run on 100% petty fuel. No ethanol. Like it is 100% concentrated petty fuel.
It really is.
And they will like beam that eye of Sauron right on you if you ask them to pick up a piece of trash. So
straight up puberty.
You try to launch a one-man war against a horde of them? Good luck, pal. Good luck.
Also, teachers that do this, that are just shitty to be shitty because they're in charge of the class.
Like a power trip, yeah.
Ugh, gross. I don't like it.
Power tripping substitute teachers.
Yes, right?
Like,
sit down, Mr. Meanie.
I don't know. I don't know like how prevalent that still is. I know I ran into it when I was a kid. I would hope that, it just goes back to like, why the f would you do this job if you don't want
for just a paycheck? Combative, yeah, Joyce.
There are plenty of other things you could do for a paycheck that don't involve. Maybe the power trip is why they do it, and they just
that's well. Yeah, most subs I think are chill too, especially the subs that show up to middle school. Don't do this.
Yeah,
this
watch
is
a
not
movie,
smart.
I got a nap level of sub, like
right. I loved it when they rolled in the TV.
Yeah,
your teacher's not here today. What?
That's the kind of sub I want to be.
That's so sad.
I want kids to be excited to see me because they know they're going to get to watch like a Marvel movie or something. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. You'd be a great sub.
Hey, Dusty Thunder here, and I wanted to thank you so much. I hope you enjoyed that content, and if you did, please make sure to like, subscribe, and most importantly, share. Also, you can find swag and so much more at dusty-thunder.com, and you'll find even more content on all of our platforms. We're on TikTok, YouTube. We now have an official Facebook page that we'll be posting stories to as well. We have podcasts on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, and so much more. You can see all of our content platforms on Linktree, which is linked in my bio. Engage with us wherever you're enjoying content, and do your best to avoid the Askonauts today. Thanks again.